So one thing that Figma does differently than many other programs is that Figma does not allow for the mass export of your files or pages per se. Um, at least in the instance of setting up a on a design page. How Figma works is that any of your frames and or sections, the more you dive into, we can talk more about frames and sections that you place directly on the background. You can think of them as pages and you can export. Now, technically, you could export really any object or group of objects or frame either on the um, background or not. Um, but for the sake of what we're doing, we will start with an object on the background. So once you select something, a frame that's directly on the background here, you'll notice that it gets a special spot on the left-hand side of your layers page. So this is sort of like the topmost frame element that's directly sitting on the background. It gets moved into here. So if you had something in here that you wanted to select and drag out here and drop it, it would then also take a top spot. We're going to select this frame, this OS under slash spot. We're going to look at the bottom right hand side of our bar. We're going to scroll down if we need to. And at the very bottom, we see our export ability. Now, export lets us do exactly what it says, export the frame. We can select the density or the amount, the size of our export, the type, the file type, and we can choose to add additional file types. We can actually export multiple versions at the same time, which is great. It's a nice little feature there. And then we get a preview of what that export is going to look like. This is useful if you're trying to get a transparent background or not have a transparent background. You want like an all white background or something. You want to make sure that it's exporting the way that you're intending and hoping for. And sometimes this works, sometimes it doesn't. I'll give you an example. Let's let's click into this card right here. This is a framed element inside of another frame. This card can be exported itself. We can choose to export this card as a transparent PNG that we could then drop this onto like a pen or PowerPoint on a case study page or wherever might be fun to drop this card here. We can export it as a transparent PNG and we can save it and add it to any location that we would like to just by exporting. One thing that I'll say is that the name of your file adopts the name of your frame. So for example, you'll see for this card, I did not do a good job of naming this card, so it's just exporting 24. But if we were to export this frame, it would export as the name OS underscore spot. So it's usually a good idea to double check or to make sure that you've named your file the appropriate name or your frame the way that you want your file to be named. So you can also change that obviously as you go into the export scenario here. So you can change the name up here. And it will adopt, usually for most of these, it will take the size or the density that you've chosen for your photo. So for example, for Retina devices, the way that they create their HD displays is that they'll take doubly large photos and they'll condense them down, which sort of doubles up the pixel density. So you get nice, crisp, clear, clean images. You don't get the bitmapped feel or the anti aliasing. Um, it looks like a crisp line. That's because we are saving them at a two times standard, and they're being displayed as like a one time. So if you want to export something, if you want to make and export something in here that needs to go, that needs a specific size, like a social share or a background, then you would probably, most of these social share sites will also do this. They'll condense things down. But let's say you're trying to get like a page banner or something that doesn't have a crop and it says that you have to have it be the exact pixel size. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Then you can go to the one time and you can save it like that. And then it should retain the exact size that you've laid out for it without any issues. Whereas this essentially doubles it. So it'll get mad at you. Okay, let's select this. Let's export out a JPEG because it doesn't need to be transparent. We will add this to the desktop, OS spot times 2. We'll save it. Let's flip over to the desktop. And here it is. Ready to be added and used in anything that we may need, be it mockups, PowerPoint presentations, etc. And it's really that simple. So it's lots of options. So one thing that you can also do is, let's say that you want to have both, for whatever reason, you know, have multiple sizes, multiple document types. Just remember to hit this add button, and you can do that. Yeah, and we will stop there.